couple hours later than you all. So in beautiful sunny California. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm excited to share some Canva with you. I mean, Canva showed up a few, 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and it has just taken the education by storm. So I will give you a quick introduction. I am a learning experience designer, creativity coach. You can, whatever, I just love designing experiences for littles, for bigs, K-12, whatever that might look. And I'm excited to show you some tips and tricks today and play a little bit with all the AI features that are a part of Canva. So today we're going to talk 3 things we're going to play with. Creating faster. I'm going to show you a couple of tools that make things go a lot faster. If you want to create presentations and various things for your classroom. Going to also show you a little bit about designing better, things where you can find things, do things, and then we will look at exploring the learning grid, which is something new to Canva, which has a ton of lessons and templates for education right in there. So, but we'll start with a poll. I want to get a feel of where you guys are. What, if you can, in the chat, what takes the most time for you to prepare when you're trying to do, like, I need to prepare a presentation. I got to create a worksheet. I have to write parent communication. Look at that list. And I put other because obviously that is not everything we do. So if there's something that just takes you a while, just to get a feel of what takes you would like to shave off some time. I'll give everybody a second to share it in the chat. So we can get a feel of where your pain points are. And stick it in the chat. So if you just want to send in a message, my biggest is presentations because I overthink everything. So there you go. That takes me the most time. So we'll see. Yes, emails and newsletters, Lauren. Yes. Oh, Nancy, feel your pain. Maria. Yep. Bulletins and flyers. Okay. All right. Worksheets and materials. Nice. These are all great. Yes, I can see that. And sometimes when you create something and then you're staring at it going, now what's next? How do I do this, this, and this? Great. Okay, awesome. Keep them coming. I'm going to go ahead and keep moving just a little bit just because of time. The first thing I would like to show you, and you can do this with me or just, watch me to remember. I want to show you very quickly how to get organized in Canva, because when you're creating multiple things, there is a way to create a folder if you don't already know how to do that. So I'm going to open this up just a little bit. This is your presentation, and my account, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to go back to my home, and on the left, when I click the home button, this is my dashboard right here. And, here's my create button that I get to create, but I'm going to go down to where it says projects. It looks like a file folder. And when I click projects, you can see that I have these file folders that I have created that have all kinds of things inside. For example, here is my project on equations. Here was my project on graphic something. I think this was Earth. And basically, I have put things inside that folder so I know where they are. So if you are creating a worksheet, a presentation, or whatever, you can put it all in one folder so you are not doing the endless scroll down Canva. So to do that, I'll go back to my projects page. There is always a plus, and whenever you see the plus, it means typically adding something. So if I wanted to type add new, and I'm going to type new folder, and I'm going to type this save time with Canva, I can add people to that group, which is also really great. So if Lauren and I were going to collaborate on something, I could send it to her and do it that way. Or, I can create a link on that as well. So when I create the folder, I now have this folder right here that is completely empty. See, it says 0 items. And then I can change the name if I want, but there's nothing in here. I can add designs. I can create a design directly in there. So if you have your computer in front of you, if you are, and you're like, it's easy accessible, go ahead and try to create just a folder, call it Save Time for Canva. And therefore, when we're creating things, you can create things right in that folder. Any questions? Okay. All right. Feel free to interrupt. Absolutely interrupt. All right. Let me go back to where we are in the learning lab for design or Save Time for Canva. All right. So we are going to start with create faster. And let's move this bit. What is really neat about Canva that was not in existence a few years ago is the power of, you kind of has the AI integrated. Think of your own chat. GPT is kind of part of Canva. We're going to slip or go to slide 7. So if you have this and want to look at it, please go to slide 7. Somebody mentioned earlier about designing lesson plans or some things like that, you know, there is a tool in Canva called Magic Write. And Magic Write, if you haven't used it, you can do anything with it. You can edit, you can create newsletters, you can create any of the writing pieces can be through Magic Write, just like you would use AI. So you can turn any idea into a lesson plan, a communication, whatever you might want to do. So I'm going to show you how this works, and you are welcome to do it with me. However, after I show you a few things, you're going to have time to play and do it on your own, and maybe do it to something that you are going to be able to use. I'm going to go back to my folder, and I'm going to click Create a Design because I want to create right inside that folder so I know where everything is. I'm going to hit a doc, just a plain old like Word doc. And when I hit that Word doc, I have all these choices, which in today's world, that's overwhelming. There's just always choices. You can pick anything you want. I usually literally just do the very first one because typically that kind of auto does it. I am not going to publish this. This is just going to be my lesson plans or maybe the draft of whatever it is I want to do. So I'm going to open that up and it is in my folder and I'm going to just rename it lesson plans and I'm going to open it up. And this is truly a document. It is just a plain document. And if you click templates and you scroll down, I can choose a template. Most of these I could even type in, I could type in newsletter and it can give me one. It would give me all kinds of templates and I can get into that in a minute. But I wanted to start with showing you lesson plans. And so one of the things you do is you look at the top, this Ask Canva. All right, Ask Canva is your new bestie. So when you hit Ask Canva, it's pretty powerful. So you have to be specific and really be kind of like, what is it that you're asking it to be even on what grade level, what reading level do you want? I'm going to click back here for a minute so you guys can see the example. On slide 8, it says create a 3rd grade lesson for teaching the different branches of government. I don't know what you all have. I did it, might be in 4th grade or 5th grade in California. I just know that at some point in elementary, they have to learn the 3 branches of government. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to go back over and I'm going to describe my idea to Canva. I'm going to say create a 3rd grade lesson plan for teaching the branches of government. I could also turn this into multiple lesson plans. I'm going to say include, because I remember I said we have age, include something interactive and creative for students to show their learning. And then might even say give ideas for differentiation and assessment. All right, I'm giving it some things that I'm asking it for, and I'm going to go ahead and submit it. This typically, it doesn't usually takes a second So as you can see on my screen, it says I'll create a comprehensive third grade lesson plan, etc. It says preparing everything. You always have to kind of wait a minute or two. It is working. And then you will see it's going to show up on my document in just a second. While you're doing this, there we go. While it's printing or doing, you can be thinking, well, what else do I want to do with this? Do I want to make this a worksheet? Do I want to make it a presentation? So here it just, gave me my standards, alignment, third grade social studies standard, basic structure, gave me some materials. AI is not always 100% like you're using this as a thought partner. All right. This would have taken me a lot longer to come up with on my own, but now I can use it as a jumping off point, and I don't even have to use it as written. So I'm thinking, okay, introduction, who makes the rules? What might you think each part would be? There's a little bit of some direct instruction here, which is probably what I want to turn into a presentation. There's some guided practice. I like that with the sorting cards. And then if they want to make a mobile or something fun like that, I have an idea of a project to do after. So it has just given me, and the funny part is they said that's going to take 60 minutes. We know, I'm like, nope, this is at least 2 lessons or even 3 lessons. But I now have some lesson plans. I now have ideas. I can get organized. And one nice thing to do with Canva is I can scroll down to this direct instruction piece, and I'm going to think I would like to make on this instruction piece, I would like to make a presentation. I would like to do something with the information as we're teaching. So I'm going to highlight this, just going to copy and see, and I'm going to go over to templates. Actually, I'm not going to go to templates. I'm going to go back home to create a presentation. So I'm going to go back to create a presentation, and I still can look through all of my templates if I want to. I'm going to show you 2 ways to save time. If you are trying to find one that's already made for you, you can say 3 branches of government, and it will give you a bunch of options to choose from. And if you click on it, you can see what the pages look like and do it that way. That means someone else has designed it for you, which is great. I mean, if you on time, you can dump that in and make any edits and changes. Or if you notice, I'm going to put in the information, explain this was my direct instruction. And this time I'm going to go ask AI to generate it for me, because now I want a customized presentation. So I hit generate. Again, takes a minute. And what it's doing, it's looking at all of the ones that are in Canva now, created by other educators, and it's pulling the pieces that I asked for, and then it's going to kind of add some color and some various things. That's really all it's doing. It's like a super fast algorithm creating and pulling. So like right away, you can see like, oh, doesn't this look right here? Look how similar that looks to this. All right. It's not exactly, but the design is ready. So then I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to apply all 6 pages. And now I can edit this quickly, make it look good, and it has the information I want to teach. For example, do you see how this right here, how America's leaders work together? I would probably bring that down there. I hit this. I want to make sure I read everything to make sure there are no mistakes. But then it could do, and I'm like, not sure I want this guy here. I'm not sure I like him there. He might not be the right person. And at that point, I can go over here and I can describe, I would like government icon. And this quickly gives me a bunch to choose from. And I can say, let's see which one I want. I like the orange. And then I'm going to make that go away. And then I'm going to bring this over. I can resize it, and I can change the color to whatever it is that I want to be. So now I can go through each one of these. I can delete, I can add. The thing is, this is just a quick lesson. This is not so when I look at something like this, I think I'm not going to stress about spending half an hour going through. As long as the information is on there, then I feel like that's going to be good talking points. One thing I can do next is I can open up a page and I can go back to my, let's see, I have to go back to my lesson. And I can say, I think I might want to go grab that project that I said, the interactive, and I'm just going to select this, go back and control, and it's going to make it small, but I am going to go ahead and make it at 100. And then I know that this is ready for me to explain the project. So I have kind of it all organized out in such a way. So this is a very quick way of taking you can come up with as many lesson plans as you want. I have used this for doing an entire unit on the Egyptians for 6th grade. If I plug it in and I give all the standards of what I want, which is also something that I would strongly encourage you when you use Canva. If you plug in the standards themselves, it knows, that's what you have to teach. I'm going to actually show you all that in a minute as well. All right, let me go back, and I have one more thing to show you. I already did this. Yes. And I wanted to show you how to share as a template. Don't know if you all know how to do this, but it is really nice. And if you don't want your students to mess with it, get on it. Say, for example, you want to share this with others, but you want to give them their own copy. Up here in the share button, if you look down, you'll see a bunch of choices. You don't want any of these choices. You actually want to click on See All. And you're going to, I think, share as template, which should be on here. Template link right here. You click on template link, and what it says is any one of this can use it as a template. Therefore, not all of the 20 kids in your class are on the same document. If you're able to say, put this on Google Classroom or however you want to put it out there, you now have a template link. And if I were to copy it and send it to anybody and I open it, it's going to ask me, a template was created. Do you want to use it? And it will edit my template and it becomes my own. So no one else is on here. See, there's nobody up here. This is all mine. So that is another great way to save time and share between teachers, between kids, and all those things. All right, I'm going to click off this. I'm going to show you one more thing, the same idea with using Magic Write and using Ask Canva before, and then I'm going to let you guys, I have a couple, I want you to play for a little bit and try it with your content. And I will be here to help answer questions or anything like that. I am going to close this. That is the biggest problem with Canva is I start opening up too many windows and it's a little bit crazy. All right, we'll reload the page. All right, so we just looked at, slide 7 tells you about these things and slide 8 is what we just did. We are now going to do something even a little bit more advanced, but also even a little bit more interesting because it takes something the 3 branches of government, like we could have probably come up with that quickly in your head, judicial branch, what that is. We could have quickly written it out. But sometimes we have these standards that are a lot more and we need more definition and we need a little bit more help and we don't want to spend all those hours creating a teaching presentation or anything like that. So this time we're going to start with a learning standard. And the nice part about that is that you can just cut and paste right into Canva. So I'm going to go over here to slide 10 because this is what I'm going to ask Canva to do. I'm going to ask Canva to do the following standard, which is standard 5. This is a science standard, next generation, to develop a model for the geosphere, biosphere, hydrosphere. And I would like students to create a model, preferably using animation or drawing in Canva. So I'm giving Canva a lot to play with. They know that 5 means a 5th grade. And notice it'll do the outline, it'll give me slides, it'll suggest visuals, and it will completely build the first draft. So I'm going to copy this prompt, and I am going to go over just to my Canva homepage. And this time I'm going to go find my Canva AI on the side in my dashboard. If you just see how you scroll down, we did projects. Here's our templates. We're going to hit right here on Canva AI and describe your idea, and I will bring it to life. So I'm going to Control V. And let me see. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to do it something different here. I'm going to go to create a presentation. I'm concerned it's going to send me off. This is the one thing about Canva. Sometimes it's very powerful, but it's also very, it can make mistakes. And so it may make something different that I don't want. So I'm going to get right to the presentation, and then I hit Canva AI, and therefore it's now linked right here. So I cut and paste. I would like to present a presentation, and I'm going to add an interactive presentation. Now it's something I could give my students. I'm going to add, I would also like a spot for reflection, because always we learn from our reflection. I'm going to hit submit. Now, I could even go so far to say I would like it in an illustrative. I would like it in graphic. I would like it in my school colors. Whatever you decide, you can get more and more specific if you like it. Now, if you look, this is kind of fun. It will give me my presentation outline. So here's my Earth Systems interactions. It says here's the cover slide. Tells me more information. What are Earth systems? So it says it will explain it. So this is just the outline. And if I like it, then I'm just going to go ahead and generate the presentation. Most of the time, if it's close enough, I suggest make the presentation and then just go in and edit as you need to, especially when you are dealing with just very simple content. When I'm looking at some of you to say for things like invitations or let me see what else. Worksheets, materials, my bulletins, you can still pull that information. You may put it in and it will lay it out for you. And I did see your question. I'm going to show this and then I will go back and show you where it's pulling information. All right, so you can see that this presentation now, it's not the greatest. Like I used to teach graphic design and I would be like, there's some stuff in here I don't like. But for example, I might change this and stretch this out a little bit more, make it look a little bit that way. It has pulled a lot of this information. Great question. It comes from, not only is it coming from internally in Canva, but it's connected to the web. That's why you have to look at the information just like you would with ChatGPT or any of the other AI. It's pulling from just what is accessible on the web. So it pulls from encyclopedias, it pulls from all of that information. So that is part of the reason you need to know when you have Canva help you, just make sure you know, because it's going to do what it doesn't. You need to be able to like vet it and make sure you're good to go. Most of the time you're good on simple, on some of this information, because it's just pulling from general, like I said, encyclopedias or National Geographic or anything, at least in this case. So the simpler it is. So here again, it talks to me about the volcano is from a geosphere. And then notice how this is falling right here and not looking too good. So I brought it up a little bit. Again, it is AI. I can also do this completely on my own. I could I could type in each one. And for example, if I liked the layout of this, I can hit duplicate page and I can fill it in. I've built a lot that way too. Just showing you that you have some options there to play with that information. One thing that you cannot do, and they're going to disable this starting in July. I saw somebody ask about making worksheets. Well, this was aligned to lessons, but they used to be able to take presentations and create a worksheet from that presentation. They're not going to do that anymore. There's I don't know what they're coming out with. Lauren, you mentioned probably like the next level. It used to be just you clicked it and it created a worksheet. That's going away as of July. But at the same time, you probably don't want a presentation to be completely into a worksheet anyway. All right, I'm going to pause right here and let you play a little bit with some of these AI tools and then for about 10 minutes. One thing you could do in terms of, sorry, I'm clicking around until I find that page. You can try using Magic Write for parent communication. We do that a lot with even Magic School. If you haven't played with Magic School, again, the key is in the prompts. I would like to write a nice email about, some behaviors and how we want to try to, if the more you feed it, it will turn around and draft it, and you'll probably have to play with it a little bit. I particularly like Canva for more of the visual piece. So for example, if I wanted to make lesson slides, or I could plug in all of my information that I want and have it just lay out in that same way, just to ask Canva, create a presentation with this information. So any questions? I'm going to stop sharing. And going to set the timer for maybe about 10 minutes and let you all kind of play for a little bit, ask any questions, see where things are. And then I'm going to circle back and show you a few other things to save time that are like a little bit about being able to work smarter, not harder kind of idea.
I just dropped a link in the chat too. Canva has this great cheat sheet of all these different prompts you can use, like based on different content areas. And that's kind of a helpful starting place if somebody needs some help. So yeah, we're here. Let us know if you have any questions. Do we want music while we work? Yes. Okay. I think we're saying yeah. All right.
Let's do a little music. We'll go about 10 minutes, Lauren. That cheat sheet is awesome. I remember seeing that at some point.
Yeah.
We could add a link to the presentation. Then they'll have that there if they want to as well.
Perfect.
I love that.
I have more. So I'll find the others and share those as well.
Yes. And Canva itself has a lot of that. So
yeah, they have so many resources. It's amazing.
I am right here. I'm going to turn off the microphone, but when I see you have a question, I'll jump off, or I'll just use the chat.
Perfect. Susan, you can hear the music, right?
Yes, I can hear the music.
Perfect. Thank you.
Susan?
Yes.
I have a question. Which usually happens, I'm teaching high school theology.
Oh,
and
yes.
so I don't see it in, I love these prompts.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything for theology and for high school students in particular.
So what content, because I've done it with some Bible curriculum to a K-5, and what like go smaller, like a content, like a piece.
Let's talk about since we're at the beginning of school, probably doing a quick probably a quick test about what they know about the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Okay. So what I would do is go a little broader with your questions and prompts.
Okay.
Something like, because on something like that, you're maybe, again, you're going to be the content expert, not AI, but you could set it up with, I would like to create some sort of like, a 20-point open-ended question to find out what my students know about the Old Testament. Specifically, what do they know about the Garden of Eden? What do they know about the story of David, the story, you can feed it some of that. And even if it doesn't know all the answers, it will craft questions that you can then edit. I can try that over here. I mean, I'm going to try it.
So then I guess my question is it easier for me to go to Google Docs and actually, because I saw what you were doing, but since it
Yeah.
looks like I'm going to be a little bit more involved, it seems like it's easier for me to go to Google Docs, actually create the prompt that I want, and then copy and paste and put it in
Yes, I do
the
that a
chat,
lot.
right?
I actually do that a lot when I am trying to gather my thoughts and I write everything down before I plug it in. I will do it either on a Google Doc or my Notes app or something. Absolutely. And you could get all your thoughts out and make sure you're hitting everything. And I would include things like the age, you want to know the age group so that the questions are written, you're not writing for a scholar that's so, you're not gonna want to write it for, say, high school sophomores. You would want to include the content that it's a review of the book of the Old Testament books here specifically. Those are the kinds of things that you're going to want to ask AI, and then it will generate a ton of questions, and then you can just deliver it however you want.
Okay.
A lot of times too is I say, here's the kind of question I want, and I want higher order thinking. And it's another thing is you push the
Okay.
blooms, and honestly, it's doing kind of the grunt work for you
Mhm.
but you bring to the table the expertise. Instead of you spending 3 hours drafting the questions, you're spending the 20 minutes drafting the prompt, then the questions come and then you're editing those. That's how it's a save time in this situation. You
Mhm.
could also, I'm going to show you a couple other things. Anything with theology,
Mhm.
um, you could use any templates that are connected more to ELA. That's always a really good, like, for example, because it's theology in many ways is like humanities. It's the stories, the people, the belief systems, all of that in Bible or theology. You could use some of those strategies that Canva has in terms of, like, what are the themes? What are the, because that's, if I don't know what your standards are, but I know that if I were in when I've seen taught, like, for example, in middle school, the life of Christ, if they were going to look at, because it's like reading a story, you
Right.
can use some of those strategies that you would use in reading a book, right? Like, what's the plot? Who's the bad guy?
Okay. Okay.
But yes, and that way you keep track of what you have prompted also, as well. But you also
Okay.
don't you can ask it to not just make a document. You could make it, could you make an outline for me? Could you make a test for me and see what it does?
Okay.
Does that
Okay.
help?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I like this Canva cheat sheet, but and so I like what you're saying. What's more aligned with what I'm doing is ELA,
Yes. And I would just
like that.
change the verbiage to make it work for what you're wanting. Um, so
Okay. And then so if I even say St. Mary's Press unit, da da da, would that's why I was curious about the content. Will it look for St. Mary's Press unit 2 and draw from that, or do I somehow have to give it with that unit? I don't know how sophisticated it is because Gemini, you actually can do that.
yes, I think there is you can add, I'm not showing my screen, but if you add, there's a plus sign, you can upload anything. So
Okay.
for example, if you're typing in yours and you just want to upload the whole unit of content, they'll pull from that specifically. Or, like with some of the general content and general standards, which I was showing you, it's just going to be generally on the web or anywhere. But you can absolutely go, here's the 20 pages of content that have to be taught. choose from this, and you just have to direct it, and give it be as specific as possible. It's funny, the smarter it gets. But what I like is you're going to be able to move around Canva once you have stuff in there. And if you want to make a poster, if you want to make, I'm going to show you that in a minute, of ways to kind of take something you've already made and transfer it to something else, if you want to do that. So.
Okay. And I'm curious too, I have my own personal Canva. I have one, I'm volunteering for another group, and I have a Canva account for that. Does the Archdiocese have a Canva account for us? And maybe that's a question for Lauren, or do I use my private one?
They don't at this point. I think that's something they're looking into doing. But ideally your school would sign up, because they can get Canva Pro for education for free. And you would be able to have your school domain that you
Okay,
and you could kind of collaborate through that. So I would ask your principal or whoever your tech, like integration specialist is at your school, I would ask them about that.
Okay, so it's called Canva Pro for
Canva Pro for education. And I can drop the Canva education link in the chat as well, because that kind of has all the information, and then you can actually see if your school is already a part of this, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so I would like to see that then.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that link.
Yes, I would say that typically what is really nice about the Canva for education is it would be within your school. Therefore, you make groups. It's all private within your school. And so you can make classes and all those things it can't share typically outside the organization, which makes it super safe, and a lot more kid friendly. I mean, sorry, like kid safe, you just kind of have your own little pod of learning that way. All right, I would love to show you a couple more things if you are available. We're going to jump on. I would love to show you how you can, it's a fun tool. It's on the newer end. And I'll show you, it's a way of taking things you've already created and potentially change from one genre to another. And I'll explain that in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and share screen. I'm going to share my window. Okay, so this is a presentation that I made a while ago. It is just some creative thinking challenges, and it is in the, as you can see, in presentation form. And I can change this I have some options. So I'm going to hit my resize button, which is right up here. And I'm going to scroll down to where it says magic switch. I am going to look at switching my pages to something else. Do I want to change it to a social media? Do I want to change it to a video? Do I want to change it to print? I can do something where I add it to print, which is a little bit interesting to me. But I'm going to go up here and I'm going to hit, instead of doing all of the pages, I'm going to click off all the pages. I am just going to click page 2. And what I'm going to do with page 2 is I come up to more. I think it's on here. I can turn it into a lesson plan, and it will copy it and it will line it up as a letter. And now that one didn't turn out very interesting because it wasn't a lesson plan, but to see it changes it into something else. I think I'll do that with this one. Here we go. I'm going to show you, this is got a lot of content on it. And say, for example, I want to change these to where I don't want it on screen anymore. I want to be able to print it. So I'm going to go up here and hit the resize again. And I'm going to, let's see, I might need to move this out a little bit. Just a second. I make it a little bit bigger. All right, I'm going to hit here. I'm going to, let's see, not all pages. I want to just do, let's see, we'll just do page 2. Huh, why isn't it not doing that? Current page 2. Page 3, I don't want the rest of these. Okay, so I have 2 pages and I want to change it into, let's change it into, I can change it into a worksheet, to a comic strip. I can just turn whatever content I have into something different. Let's change it to maybe to, I'm going to change it to a graphic organizer. And now I have it in a space where I can move this information around and I can turn around, and if I wanted to print this out, I can turn around and add, let's see, a square. I'm going to add a shape. Oops, got excited there. And then I put here, and now what I had as a slide, now I can add this to, now a student could fill this out. I could turn it into something where they're taking notes. And I can do that for all of these. So they can turn it into any, you can turn it into, it'll resize and switch it to whatever you want it to be. So now my content matches these graphic organizers. And it's up here under resize. And any, you have, typically you take something you've already created. So if I go, basically you take it, resizes it, translates it, it converts it into a different format. So pretty much anything you can do. So if you go back to your home, and if there's something, here's a good one I can show you. Here's a social media. And say I want to create an Instagram post, and I'm just going to just pick one. Like, let's see, here's a beach cleanup event. All right. And let's pretend I created this. And then when it's time, when I need to, I want to do something different with it, I can go down, I can change it into anything that I want it to do. I can do a different social media size. I have it as an Instagram. What if I wanted to do a poster, a calendar of it? Here's a poster. And I want to copy and resize it because we're going to hang up this event as a poster. And again, it will need a little bit of love, but typically you can make it into something very quickly instead of remaking it right away. So this way you are actually, as we used to say, working smarter, not harder, in the sense that you create it once, but you can use it in different types of things that you want to put out there for, like for a newsletter or for a poster or for a flyer. You can kind of do that. Now, once you have something like this, I'm going to go back here. One way to very easily, if you like a layout like this, a lot of times where it says duplicate page, I will duplicate a page and then I will just plug in different things. I will get rid of and do different. So this might be car, let's see, or like a wash, and it might be clean your car, whatever it might be. And then this is a different event. I can very easily choose the color. I could change the color. I can go down and pick a completely different color. And therefore, I have now created the same layout that I worked hard on, but I can actually turn this into a completely different event. And therefore, I've got similar events. So not only can I resize it, but I can also reuse it as a template and create it myself. So I'm going to stop presenting for a minute. And what I would love for you all to do is maybe go back to something you have already created, what you created a few minutes ago. See if you can practice with using it and having two different types of documents. So if you started on a presentation Or do what I did, where you open something up and do it and then try and then move it and choose something different and use that resize button so that you can see how you can toggle between all kinds of different things, and it will save you time than having to build from scratch every time. So let's take maybe 5 minutes or so and play for a few minutes, and then we have one last thing to do, which I'm kind of excited to show you. The last thing's just more like a scavenger hunt. All right. I'll be here if you need any questions or want to have answer anything, but play around with the resizing and or changing colors, any of that good stuff.
I'm going to turn our music.
Oh, there it is.
If you don't believe creating SOPs can take seconds instead of hours, you haven't tried Scribe. Check out the thousands.
Okay, Lauren, I'm going to show them one more thing. And this, I'm going to have everybody, yep, this is great. Good, I'm going to show you all one more thing. And I would love, this is not a creating piece. This is, so I'm going to jump on again, and if I'm going to walk you through, and hopefully you will, I'm going to have you go where I go. And so let's see, try this again. Here we go. All right, we are going to look at, there is a new Learn Grid, and this is literally like going down the rabbit trail for me. So if you will find your way back to your home of Canva. So I'm going to refresh mine. Your home should look something like this, where, you know, you've got all your fun things. Here was all the things you created and your dashboard. I'll give you guys a second to get there. There is at the top where you see templates and all the things. Let me see if Okay, no, I just want to make sure. All right, right here is an arrow. Mine says print, drop, dock, whiteboard. Sometimes they're in different orders. I'm going to slide over, find what says Learn Grid. See if you can find that. It's red with a little book. Again, with Canva, there's like 100 different ways to get places. But if you start here, open up Learn Grid when you get there. And I'm going to show you a little fun. All right, so they have been working on this for a little bit. Not sure when it came out. It might have come out this summer or last summer or a few months ago. The Learn Grid is basically filtered templates by state standard. So example, like I'm in Missouri. So here's Missouri, but I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And if you can see that they align it to the curriculum of the different countries. So you have Australia, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to go down to the United States. I'm just going to show you the long way. Do this with me if you want to. United States, and I'm going to find California. Now, I don't know how many of you, being in Catholic school, you might have a little bit more flexibility with your standards. However, generally, a lot of them, this is going to be sort of more on the general end. You're still teaching reading and writing and things like that. And then if you're teaching a subject such as theology, remember, you can lean into ELA. You can hit the grade. So I'm gonna, let's do a ninth grade. And for a subject matter, they've got all the general subjects. So I'm going to hit English language arts. And now I have all kinds of resources that are already built for me to do. So for example, this is general reading. So I'm going to open this up. And again, you can still use all the tools I showed you before. This is reading and analyzing text. So this could be used for really any content that you're teaching in. It's got it all set up for you. It gives you the breakdown of what you're going to do, the skill set. And as you can see, go through, it's a teachable, it's amazing because it's done the work for you. If you decide, I don't like that font, you can easily click on that. That's a fixable problem. I'm going to change it to Canva. And then I look down below and I'm like, oh, okay, I want to change it across all my pages because I want to make sure that for accessibility reasons, I want to make sure that I'm doing something that is not too many serifs. And then I go ahead and change, and now it's changed across everything. I also think this is too dark. If I click on this and I ungroup it, it's kind of a lot more than I thought it was going to be. All right, well, I'm going to leave that as is. But what I might do is make this bold and go through and make all of them bold. In any case, I can customize this, read through, just like AI did, but this is a resource that has been vetted by Canva. And what they've done is work with educators all over the world to create these based in the standards that belong to the country or the state. So that is another, if you want to take a minute and just search around. One other really cool thing that I recently discovered were these interactive games. This is so fun. Again, your students would not want to have. You could hit sequencing, and here's California, ninth grade ELA. Maybe I want to do something different. I want to do, they have a lot more to choose from this way. Maybe I want to do geography, and I'm going to hit sixth grade. And then I tell the topic. I would want students to be able to locate locate at least 10 different countries in the world. I don't even know if that's going to work. All right, so we create the activity and it codes for you. That came out new with Canva Code. So it creates a challenge. It's just fun how far and deep you want to go into Canva. But the Learn Grid is a great place for you to find things already made that you can pull in. And you're not just searching in the general Like, I want something for the ecosystems. You can actually go through the Learn Grid and actually get closer to your grade level and all the things. So anyway, that is just, a little gift that Canva has given us on. They're going to keep adding to it and growing with it. And they are really trying to align. These are all teacher made and teacher vetted. I have actually made some stuff for Canva and I have to give it, and it is vetted so hard. Like my T has to be crossed and I has to be dotted. So, just let you know that most of that is always created by solid educators. All right. Are there any questions, any thoughts, anything you want to throw out there before our time? Well, our time's pretty much up, but I'll stick around if anyone has any questions or concerns or anything they would like to talk about. We could do this all day. I mean, and I love one-on-one. Like a lot of times it's really helpful because I bet you guys are all have different, I want to try this, I want to work this. But hopefully you took a nugget or two to try and to play with.
Yeah, we'll stay on for a few minutes in case anybody has any questions. And then Canva is like, it's such a broad topic, like what Susan said. We could talk about this all day and still not get to everything. And they're updating new things like Canva AI 2.0 is coming out soon. So we'll continue to do learning labs on Canva and create content for you guys as well. So but yeah, we're so grateful for you guys joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, we're so grateful to Susan. Again, we'll stay on for just a couple minutes if you guys have any questions, but if not, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We hope you found it helpful. Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you, Phyllis. Yes. Thank you for coming.
All righty. Well, I think we're good to go. I don't think there's any other questions. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and have a great night. We'll go ahead and end this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan, do you want me to email you a separate link? No, I already sent you one. I sent you the invite. So we'll hop over there.
Yes. Okay. That's where I'll go. Okay. I'll see you.
Okay.
All right.
Oh.